We have been talking about this here at the station all day. I can't believe it's been 6 years, just 6 years, since Michael Jackson passed at the age of 50, a day most of us will never forget. He left behind a legacy of music, superstardom, and fans, and incredible philanthropy. A lot of people didn't know how much money and how much good Michael did until after he passed. Fans will honor him for the rest of their lives, many of whom will visit his grave at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Hollywood Hills, while others will take to the internet for the annual One Rose for Michael Jackson, where they can purchase roses and leave a message for the beloved performer. He touched so many lives that, most of us remember exactly where we were when we heard the news. So where were you when you heard Michael Jackson had passed away?
I was off of Charleston at Walker Furniture, buying furniture, and the news came on the TV, and it literally took me 2 or 3 times looking at the TV and for me to process it. Like the first 2 or 3 times I heard it, I couldn't process the fact that he had passed away. I grew up a huge Michael Jackson fan. I was very, very fortunate to be able to go to Michael's house and perform magic for Michael. Wow. Another thing that you mentioned about Michael giving back to charities and doing a lot of good work. Something that people don't know is Michael was a huge magic fan. He loved magic.
Really?
In his theater at his house, he actually had 2 trap doors built in the stage, and he had a couple of magic illusions under the stage. So there were times that guests would come to the house, and he would actually put on magic shows himself.
That's fantastic.
And how did you get invited over there?
Through a bunch of magicians. He knew, at the time I lived in LA, and for different occasions, the time that we went, it was for Easter. He invited a couple of magicians to perform, and it was only him and probably 8 other people. But I guess instead of a normal person going in the phone book at the time and looking up, the magician in the phone book, he would call magicians that performed at the Magic Castle and performed all over the world to come to the ranch and perform for him.
How neat. Was that like just kind of overwhelming? I mean, here he is like within touching distance.
It was a career highlight, and I tell people I was very fortunate to meet him in his most natural environment. Right. When I left, I felt like, I could be friends with Michael because I didn't meet him after a show with paparazzi and fans mobbing him. I met him in his home, so he talked to me like we're talking now.
A normal person.
Yes.
How cool is that? Yeah, I was on a live shot, and the monitor in the live truck was up, and one of our producers, DeAndre Esteen, called me just as the special report was coming up, and as that popped up, DeAndre says in my ear, "Michael Jackson's dead." And I was like, what do you mean Michael Jackson's dead? Michael Jackson can't be dead. I mean, I was just like you. I could not process this. It's like, Michael Jackson?
Yeah,
There's
a lot of people
way.
thought it was a prank or a joke. We were in shock.
Yeah.
Well, especially when you watch This Is It, the movie that came out, and you saw at 50, he was dancing harder and better than some of the people in the cast that were half his age.
Right.
And to think that he passed away when he had that show that was going to launch is just so sad.
Yeah, he was preparing for his comeback, which is really sad.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to our other topic here, trending